There we go. Now we're live, apparently. I have to hit it here and then hit it over there, it looks like. Cool. Oh, I didn't grab my hat.
I'll get your hat.
Oh, thank you.
You do a fresco too.
All right. Hello. Let's see. I do live. Hello, everybody. Let's see if I can add a window capture. Thank you. This is just going to go blank for a moment, everybody. Don't you worry. Window capture. And then there we go. There is...
Sweet.
There is the thing. We can show people the website.
I'm going to tweet about it.
Good. Oh, Dapper Props is here. Always happy to see you here, old buddy. Did I change that back? Yeah, we did. Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. We're gonna chill out for a bit while people show up. I want to show off this toy I got, or I printed this. Haha! What a cool mechanism. All 3D printed, a 3D printed spring. It pops open and locks, and then it pops closed and locks. How cool is that? Quap Mob 4 has been around since before our warehouse move-in. That was quite a long time ago. Yeah. Blame Kiwi for discovering your epic content? You mean, Kamui, maybe? Warning, what's this? Everything seems fine. Oh, the stream's bitrate is lower than recommended. Use a stream bitrate of 6800. Okay. I don't know how to change any of that. We're just gonna roll with it. First time catching a live stream. Yeah, we don't do a ton of live streaming anymore. We used to do it a lot more, but making YouTube videos really kind of took up all our time. But today we're live streaming because we have some fun things to cover. Hello, Andre. Good to see you. Salutations from Toronto. I went to Toronto in the 90s. I lived across Lake Ontario. I lived in Oswego, New York. We made it up to Canada quite a few times. Went to Toronto, went to the CN Tower, and I remember getting to check out a very, very old virtual reality thing, plane simulator. That was pretty cool. Okay. We're gonna roll with one camera today. We tried setting up 2 cameras. Didn't work. These are old webcams. The good old Logitech C920. Turns out not the standard anymore, and we had quite a lot of problems trying to get 2 of them to run. So we got 1 camera today. Now, yes, I lived in Oswego. The Central New York accent. Mixed in with a little West Coast fun. Britt's here.
Hello.
Yeah,
So nice outside.
Do that. We can see both of us. Terrific. Yeah, the weather's starting to get really good here in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dapper Props. I have, we have 3 of those C920, or 2 C920s and a C922 or something. Whatever it is, our computer wasn't having it.
It's from the Wild West days of streaming.
Yeah.
Where Logitech had to make their own software, and it's not supported anymore because there's now way better software out there.
We may have to get some new hardware if we're going to do more streaming. D20 Chaotic, hello. Michael Chanel, also hello. Oh, let's see, that's the chat. That's the thing there. Cool. And I can go over to the website.
Sweet.
I guess that's the website we want to show off. There we go. We'll get started here shortly, but in general, we're here today to talk about our new project, our new 3D printing project. We've been working on this idea for about a year now, and started making models for it, and then softly launched the thing at the beginning of this year, and now we're ready to just start promoting it. So we've got some models here to put together, which should be super fun. And we're really just here to take questions from you all to see. Basically, we're building this new project, GizmoThrill, this 3D printing project, and we want feedback. We want you guys to ask us questions about it so that we know which questions will want to be answered.
Yeah, we want to put together a Q&A for GizmoThrill.
Right. Basically, take all the feedback we get from you all, put it into a channel trailer, right?
Yeah.
Because this is a fun new thing that we're working on, and we're still figuring out what it's going to be, and that's where you come in. You come in with a bunch of questions, and the questions you ask will inform the information we provide moving forward. Nick Brown says, my daughter loves the pencil-holding dragon.
Oh, good.
Great. We're going to put a dragon together later today.
That makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah.
Our nieces like the dragons, too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Greetings from Sweden. That's terrific. Greetings from Seattle. What was the most unrealistic deadline you were surprised you met? Geez. It's hard to remember that sort of stuff after the fact.
It's one of those things, too, where in your head you're like, oh, this won't take long.
Mm-hmm.
And it always takes longer. The one that came to mind for me was when you were sick and you still did a Film Riot project last minute. And so it wasn't planned ahead of time. It was like a last minute, hey, Bill, are you available to make a prop? And Bill's like, well, I'm really sick, but I'll film it right now.
Yep, and we did it.
And he was delirious in the video.
You know, I don't even really remember much of it.
Yeah.
Michael wants to know how Carlack's going. You were working on that yesterday.
Good. I'm working on the wig. I've never styled a wig before, so it's been intimidating, but it's gonna look nice. It'll look good when it's done. So that video might come out Monday. We'll see how it goes. I'm confident it'll go out Monday.
Yeah. Greetings from Bellevue. Who's this Robert Duran fella?
Oh,
sounds like a handsome gentleman.
Sounds like he should be working.
Yeah, those kids practically teach themselves. The Honest Cosplayer is here. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. How are your catalpa treelings?
Yeah.
Little sprouts. Ours are doing well.
That's Christy. She was here in the shop a while back. We did our foam hair. You want to grab that?
Yeah.
Yes. Any of you speak Spanish? I took Spanish for 3 years in high school, and I barely remember any of it.
I learned some Spanish from Sesame Street.
I do know how to ask where the library is. You know.
The old bibliothèque.
There we go. So this is what Christy helped me make, our foam Wolverine hair. My claws here? There's some claws.
Oh, of course there's claws within arm's reach.
Oh, yeah. Is this the right hand or the left hand? It's the left hand. I don't know about you guys, but I am very excited to see Wolverine and Deadpool.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Trailer looks so much fun.
Chrissy says the trees are growing like crazy.
Yay! Yeah, I hear they grow really fast because they get so big.
Our big ones are starting to get their leaves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the ones that have been in the ground already that are like 80 years old. Yeah, they take forever to get their leaves. Their leaves are smaller than the leaves on my little guys.
The hair is dope. Is GizmoThrill an STL or 3D printing project sharing site similar to Thingiverse or other sites like it? So it is, we are doing everything on Printables. Printables is the file sharing website that we are using for GizmoThrill. GizmoThrill is just a new venture, a new brand, let's call it, in the Bill and Britt maker world, let's say, our business, our livelihood. So yeah, we're both Brittany and I are 3D modelers. We went to school for that sort of thing, and we want to do a lot more of it. So this is our a side. Let's call it a side hustle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's our side hustle.
Yeah, Bill wanted to design his own stuff and print it, and we're like, well, what if we try and sell the kits we put together? So that's our current plan.
Let's see. All right, we got some questions coming in. What kind of projects you're hoping to produce with GizmoThrill? That's a good place to start. You know what else too? I need to open a just write down some notes while we go here, because if you guys ask any really good questions, I want to write them down and make sure they get included. What kind of projects, and we'll cover all that, but then for future people who get into GizmoThrill, we want to make sure that their questions are answered too. Have you Akela Draconis says, have any of your props ever gotten you into trouble for looking too real? No, because we've always been very careful. We've done projects with our friends at Film Riot, and they do a lot of video work, like they film skits and stuff, and sometimes they'll use things like real-looking guns, and that's something, especially if you're filming, depending on where you're filming, right? For example, if you're in a public park, you wouldn't want to run around with realistic-looking guns. That's a great way to get the police called on you. So just being aware of that sort of stuff when you are in public is really important. And fortunately, like, Film Riot has, we've been watching them for like 15 years now. Or more. They taught that lesson pretty early. And it's a really good one.
We have going through weapons check to getting into conventions. Over the years, it really depends on where you go as to how judicious they are about checking the props that are coming into conventions. And this was years and years ago. Bill went to New York City Comic-Con, and Bill's plastic axe.
This is plastic, but it looks very real. They almost didn't let me in.
Yeah, because it's also still heavy. Like it still hurts someone. And this was, like I said, was years ago. Now they probably wouldn't allow it.
No, and I wouldn't bring it either.
Yeah, so even wood and plastic is usually too.
Something fell in the trash. Oh, that spray gunner thing. There we go.
Ooh.
It's a thing for like hanging stuff.
So like you open it and then oh look at that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Chad had those at the booth at Emerald City.
Cool. That's awesome.
Lord Henrik says the cosplay planner PDF has come in handy for many characters. Awesome.
Sweet.
Britt's been filling hers out for Karlak.
Yeah, it's down below.
It's around somewhere. Hello from Nantes. Is that France? Awesome. All right, well, I think we're probably ready to get started.
Yeah, I'm just down here taking apart supports that some of our prints.
And this is all going to be very just informal hangout. We'll get it started, and then Brittany and I are going to put some projects together, and you guys can just pepper us with questions.
Yeah, I guess we can start with what kind of projects we want to do.
Yeah, this is great. Building the Magic says, what's the goal of GizmoThrill? What are you trying to do? I'm writing all this down, like a mission statement. So, all right. So Brittany and I launched this new thing. We launched it earlier this year. It's called GizmoThrill. Right now, it only exists over on Printables. So if you look at the website here, GizmoThrill is our printable site. And on Printables, you can go download free models. You can purchase models. You can join people's clubs to get monthly access to their files. And I did not log in. I guess that doesn't really matter. And this is our club. This is our page over on Printables. It's printables.com/@GizmoThrill. I guess I could put that up on the screen. And it's a place where you can go to get access to some of our 3D models that are specifically designed for 3D printing. If I click on 3D models, these are all the free ones. And we threw a lot of our prop stuff in there. These are all free files that we've had available on our website for a long time. So these are all just free prop files that we had. So we put them on there to populate the site. Arc Reactor, Mr. Handy. The Boolean Gemini, actually, I never gave out those files until now. So if anyone wants to make one of those, got some great news for you. So we've added a ton of free stuff, and then there's the club in the store. And these are some of our premium 3D model files. You can buy the Noisy Cricket over there if you want to download and print that. The Rattler's over there, the Replicant Blade Runner Blaster, and my Trigun gun. And then all the things with purple stars on them, these are all our club models. So if you're a member of our club, you get access to all of those for printing. And those are some of the things that we're going to be putting together today. So that's the sort of the gist of what GizmoThrill is. It's a 3D printing file company, I guess. Venture. Let's call it a venture. It's a 3D printing file venture where Brittany and I model and release cool projects every single month. And whoever's a member can go in and get those files and download and print them. We'll also move those into the paid thing. If you don't want to be a member, you can just buy them one at a time. I know that some people prefer that. So we'll have some options there as time goes on. Now, Dapper Props asked, what kind of projects are you hoping to produce with GizmoThrill? So, you grabbed the forklift. Awesome. The impetus for this whole project, about a year ago, we were putting together a 3D printed kit. We got that, we don't even have one.
The Satisfactory
the build
prop.
tool.
Yeah.
And as I was putting it together, it hit me that's my favorite part, the assembly. You know, this kit laid out in front of you, you get to put it together like a model kit.
And it usually has like moving parts you get to play with later.
Yeah. So those are the two sort of criteria. We want to make 3D printed model kits that come in multiple pieces, things that you can print in different colors, all the parts in whatever colors you want, get creative with that. But then you get to sit there and put it together. Like opening a new box of Lego on Christmas morning, right? Just the joy of assembly. It's kind of where we got the name GizmoThrill from. It's really, really fun to make many parts into fewer parts and put them all together. So those are the kind of things we're making. They're generally not props. We're going to still make props. Punished Props isn't going away. We're going to still make our prop videos. GizmoThrill is a new thing where we get to explore being designers a little bit more.
Yeah. It's something I haven't had much experience in. I'm a trained copy artist, so I can do replicas, great, but doing my own designs, that's definitely a new thing.
So some of the things that we've made, for example, I'll show this off over here because it's fun. Our free model right now, we figure we always want to have a free model for as an example, is this tugboat. Scooter the tugboat is a whole bunch of little parts you can print in different pieces and put together. It does in fact float. You have to put some weight in it as ballast, which we'll do. We'll show that in a little bit. But that is Scooter. You can go download that for free right now and start printing it if you like. All of our there we go.
Look at him go.
All our projects come with an assembly video that shows how they go together. There's a PDF with some additional instructions. That's kind of the plan. Everything will get its own instructional video. There's a GizmoThrill YouTube channel you can go subscribe to if you like. We've got a Twitter handle and all the social medias and everything. But for the most part, everything's going to live here on Printables for now. You can see this just a straight up assembly video that shows how everything goes together right on the website. So this is the free one. We'll be putting one of these together today. And you can go download one right now if you want to check it out. If you become a member, then there's a bunch of other models that you can put together. We'll do some of those too, like Raisin the Forklift, which is one of my very favorites right here. Let's see. We've got Willie Wormpie says, hello from the Netherlands. Got a 3D printer I've been using Thangs to find stuff to print, but a lot of links to printables seem to have been removed. Is that a risk? I have no idea. I don't know. Right now, we are only putting our stuff on printables, and it seems like it's fine there. I don't know. We're kind of going through a bit of a 3D file repository. I don't know if war is the right term.
You're certainly not up on the drama.
No,
I know some sites stole other sites' files and put them up, and they had to be taken down. I'm not up on the drama.
No, we're just sticking with printables right now, and so far it's going pretty well.
One of the features that Printables has that I like is you're encouraged to leave feedback on the prints that you try out. If you upload a picture of your make that you've downloaded and printed, then you start earning points. And if you earn enough points, you get a free roll of filament that you get a voucher for when you go to the Printable site and get filament. So that's part of our motivation is like, yay, free filament. I think we have a couple of rolls we can get now.
They've gamified it a bit.
You can get achievements and things.
It's fun the way that they've encouraged people to interact. I like it a lot. Let's see. Hawk Worley says, do you plan on hosting these elsewhere, or will it just be printables? For now, it's just going to be printables. That's something we considered.
We might. We do have the website for GizmoThrill. It's just under construction right now, but we could sell them there on our own site. In fact, if we do this for a couple years, have a blast, but we're like decide we're done with it, maybe we could just leave that website going and sell the files there. Because just like every other company, I'm sure 10 years from now, all of these 3D printing hosting websites are all going to be totally different.
Sure, one of them will buy all of them or something.
Exactly, yeah. They'll probably all be owned by Amazon someday. Yeah. But until then...
yeah. Let's see. Honest Cosplayer says, Scooter's so cute. And Widget is adorable. Widget's the little robot that Brittany made.
Thank you. This is my favorite part about Scooter. Is, this thing.
Look at it go.
Wait, which way am I supposed to go?
Go backwards.
Backwards? Ah! No, I'm breaking it.
It pops right back in.
Poor prototype.
But I made a little winch, a ratcheting winch. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see.
There you go.
It's like if her presenting to the camera. Ta-da!
Yeah.
I love it.
That's fun. So, yeah, we want to design things that have moving parts, things that are fun to play with after the fact. Right now, Britt's removing some support material from something. Yeah,
just my treasure chest I designed. We had a bunch of things we were trying to meet with our designs. One of them was like minimal support material. It started as no support material, and then we realized quickly that I'm not at the level where I can design things that don't use support at all for some things, like with holes and things.
And that's been an interesting side effect of this is getting better and better with each project at designing things in a way where they don't need support material.
Yeah, or in print orientations too, right? Like, this is the top of the treasure chest, but I did it in 2 pieces so it could print like that.
Yeah, with as little support as possible.
Yeah, so no support on any of this.
I think, you know what, the text on my forklift needed support material, but I think that's the only part that needed support on my forklift.
Good job, Bill. That's impressive.
We're getting better.
And some shapes are just easier than others. I don't know. I'm still learning.
D20 Chaotic is curious about your Carlac costume. Are you going to make a slim muscle undersuit with diffuse areas for the glowing spots?
That's the thought. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I got the fabric. The light does shine through the fabric, so that would, I think, be the easiest thing to do.
But you're planning on the everything up to the neck is going to be a bodysuit.
Yeah.
So you don't have to put makeup all over.
No.
Just your face.
Yeah, I've seen. It's a real dedication to spend that much time doing like alcohol ink body paint, because otherwise it would rub off. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to use like water-based or oil-based or whatever just on my face and neck.
You did that with
Mystique
years and years ago.
Yeah, I had a blue bodysuit for her.
Yeah, that worked great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Michael is curious, has never 3D printed anything. Do these projects have a low entry threshold? So the better we get at designing for 3D printing, the easier they are to print. So printing without supports, or we're finding that certain designs have a tendency to peel off the print bed a little bit, and there are ways you can design things so that that's not a problem. Now I will say some of these projects are a little more advanced in that they have a ton of parts. This boat's got a lot of parts.
Yeah, it just this whole scaffolding is not printed in one piece. They're all flat pieces, so they print super easily.
Right. It's almost like a laser cut. It's a 2.5D.
Yeah.
With a tab and slot design.
So if you have experience assembling kits, even just like Lego kits, it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of pieces. Like some have very few, like little widget there. I was trying out a simpler design with fewer parts.
Mm-hmm. Dapper Props says, what kind of models are you planning for the future with GizmoThrill? Robots and spaceships and aesthetic plants? Oh my. We're like, the sky's the limit. We're looking for like desktop sized things.
Yeah, this is a great size.
I got a bunch more vehicles I want to make. Boats, spaceships. I love industrial vehicles. I basically have the same desires as my 7-year-old nephew. I want trucks. I want tank treads. I want... that sort of stuff. Neat containers. Britt's got. We'll put another one of these together later. Britt's got this treasure chest that she designed. So neat containers, desktop things, maybe stuff you would use it for your tabletop game. That sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of stuff you want to hanging around, and it's the kind of thing you'd have nearby if you have a friend come over and they would pick it up and play with it, like fidget with it, and it's
yeah. Now we do have a range of complication as far as like the projects are concerned. Like this treasure chest or this boat have a lot of parts. They're not necessarily complicated, they just have a lot of parts. But also Britt's robot, which I gave the one I had to Norm. There might be another one upstairs, but
that's fair. That I did make two of those.
But that's definitely more of a beginner type project. So we'll have a range. We'll be putting out one new model a month, but we'll have a range of how complicated they are. But because like every once in a while, I'm just gonna want to deep dive and make something incredibly weird and complicated, like my Blade Runner blaster. This thing here was quite complicated and took me a few months to make, but it scratches a very specific itch for me. So yeah, we'll have a range of skill level type things. The great news is that they're 3D printed kits, so if you have trouble putting them together, or if you break a part, you can just print another one. I sent a forklift to my little brother, and he immediately broke the axle. I may have to send him another axle. This piece right here. I made little pallets though. Look at these. How good is that?
Yeah, even if you just want the palette part, that's one of the pieces included in the model.
Oh yeah,
it's just so cute.
I was able to print this in 2 parts without supports that just sort of stick together. There's a little robot. So this one's a little bit more of a beginner project. Super easy to print, super easy to put together. You can print a bunch of them in different colors to have a little army of them if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, he holds my pen upstairs. Actually, no, this one holds business cards downstairs. The one I had upstairs is in the tested cave right now. It's a good place for it to be.
The let's see. Hawk Worley says, what are you thinking for the price points for individual model kits? Right now, the monthly price for GizmoThrill is $8 a month, and that gets you 1 model per month. So that's kind of the...
And you have access. You have access to all the previous models.
Sure,
but we try and do one new one a month.
Exactly.
To add to the collection.
So when the models, we'll also eventually sell those models a la carte one at a time at a similar price.
Yeah.
Maybe like $10 per model, to make the membership a little more attractive.
Yeah, and so yeah, like right now, if you sign up for clubs, you get access to all of the models.
Right.
And we'll be adding a new one this month, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes.
All right, price point. I'm writing all this stuff down.
And some of the models we have for individual sale, because Prusa also has a purchase store. They have their free section, then they have their purchase store section, and they have their club section. In the store section, it's nice if you go to click on something on the store, if they also have that model as part of their clubs, it'll say so right there. So you can go click and be taken to the clubs where it's a much better value. So instead of just buying, like, I don't think the forklift's on the store yet, but if it was on the store, you might go there and be like, oh, instead of just buying it for, like $10 or something, I could get it for $8
and get all these other
and
models.
all these other models.
Let's see here. Will you be making any movie game props that have moving parts? Not for GizmoThrill.
All our own IP.
Yeah, that as we move forward with GizmoThrill, it's all going to be our own designs.
Or
now,
our friends' designs.
Yeah, we might hire friends to come in and do some designing. However, for Punished props, I'm still going to make movie props. We're still, I still have a lot of mechanical chunky revolvers that I want to make.
As long as video games and movies keep coming out with cool props, we're gonna want to keep making them.
Yep.
We were I was playing Balatro yesterday, which is just a card game. It's a card game. It has cute graphics, and I'm sitting there like, Bill, we need to make some Balatro cards.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And it's not a 3D printed project, but it's like we still gotta we gotta have these things in our life.
Let's see. Caleb wants to know what the best 3D printer is that we own. Right now, the newest, fanciest 3D printer we have, I think, is probably the Prusa Mark IV. We also have a Prusa Mark III that got upgraded to 3.5, which is very similar to the Mark IV as far as speed is concerned and quality and all that. We have a Prusa Mini, which is at my feet right here. I just picked that one up. From Pooch, that literally fell out of his trunk.
Yeah. Our Ultimaker 2 is getting really old.
It is. It's still a very solid machine, but it lacks the features that newer machines have. So that one's set up for ABS, for printing props and stuff, because they're easier to sand that way.
It's a nice tall build plate, too, because we have
that's true.
Extended
one.
Plus.
We have a couple of Anycubic resin 3D printers as well. Those don't get used very often.
Yeah, not for GizmoThrill. It's one of the things I wasn't realizing I'd enjoy so much with GizmoThrill is these are not painted, which means I don't have to sand them. And I actually get to celebrate how many different kinds of PLA filament colors are out there. Because we're trying to make sure all this works with cheaper PLA, nothing fancy. You don't need fancy filaments for all of our stuff so far. But yeah, you get to actually enjoy the colors. Usually we get prop maker gray and sand it and paint it.
Yeah, but no, we've been branching out. We got to visit Protopasta this summer and see how filament gets made, and we've been buying a lot of fun, sparkly, metallic, and
this is the color we got to design at Protopasta.
That's right. Yeah. We got to make our own color there.
Yeah, they already have so many colors, but when we got to go visit the factory, they were like, pick out a mix of stuff and we'll mix you your own color. I'm like, we already have everything. So I just did it was this color without the pearlescent silver, and so I added a whole bunch of glitter to it. So it ended up lighter colored, but it's very sparkly.
Let's see. Building the Magic says, any large-scale human-scale props in the queue or all toy-focused? So all of the GizmoThrill stuff is going to be kind of toy-focused. But for Punished props, we've got we actually have a giant axe that we're going to make soon. A very giant axe. Yeah,
if we did make a full-size prop, it would need to have some kind of function. Like we have a very long list of kind of ideas we've been pitching around, like a bonsai tree container, like a planter pot. Maybe it looks like a little city or a crashed ship or something. But maybe it would be full scale if it was I don't know, something you'd hold in your hand, like a watering can or something. But so far we thought of things like bird feeders or bird houses or anything related to your backyard, because we like spending time in our backyard feeding the birds. So,
let's see. And also, all of these kits are going to be designed for FDM printers. These are not going to be for resin printers.
The pallets.
The pallets. Oh, the pallets. Let's see. Testing Limit says, I'd love to buy some miniature workshop tools like a Bridgeport or a bandsaw. That's on the list. I was trying to figure out how I can make a model of a bandsaw with a hand crank that moves the blade.
Yeah,
I think that would make a really fun little kit. But yeah, tiny tools. There's I can't remember. There's a guy I follow on Instagram who's been making a tiny old school lathe out of cast metal and stuff. But it's this big.
Yeah.
Tiny. Yes. Yeah. Testing Limits. You get it. You know what we're all about.
Yeah, and it's as far as design goes, Bill and I were doing a bunch of talking, and I was like, I feel like I feel like you in another life would have been an industrial designer because he loves like this kind of design. So it's like it's a forklift, and he used to drive a forklift for one of his previous jobs.
Yeah.
And so he understands them, but he didn't want to make an exact model. He wanted to do his own version of one, like a simplified version.
Yeah.
So like if we did do a cute little like shop tools, I don't know if they would be like 1-to-1 scale Bridgeport, or if they would be your own.
I want to make something a little more whimsical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could look sci-fi.
Sure.
It could look fantasy, a dwarven workshop.
The Real Malky is looking for FDM printers. Can you recommend some that are beginner friendly? I don't have a lot of experience with a lot of different printers. However, I can say the Prusa machines have been really solid. I've built a few of them, and they're pretty easy to put together. I've heard very good things about the bamboo printers, and there's a few for under $400 or $500 that seem like they designed exactly for you for the beginner.
It's bamboo with a U, right?
BAMBU.
Yeah.
Bamboo.
Yeah, bamboo.
Yeah. Can the pallets be used as drink coasters? Let's find out. Yes, they can.
I like drink coasters that have recesses too, because otherwise some drinks get stuck to the bottom with condensation and water. When you go to lift it up, you take the coaster with you.
If you guys are looking for 3D modelers or props, you let me know. All right, let's see. Let's look for more. David Whitehead says, prop maker gray. I feel seen. Yes, I have like 10 spools of gray ABS in there. That's for prop making.
Yep.
Hawk Worley says, why did you choose printables as opposed to something like Patreon? Are there features that make printables more interesting? So that we considered doing one or the other, or even both, Patreon and printables. The thing about printables is it's designed from the ground up to be a place that's both crowdfunded and for 3D printing. So the way that they host websites, include the licensing, the way that they gamify it so that people who make stuff can post their makes, it felt like the exact solution that we needed for this business model.
Yeah, and it was last year around this time when Prusa announced that they were going to be adding clubs to printables. So clubs isn't even a year old yet, and they asked for feedback, and they had a couple like veteran people who sell prints on other websites, kind of they put them on printables and talk to them about what do they want, like how do you want your images to be viewed of your prints, and do you want the raw files to be visible, and do you want licenses attached? So they did a lot of feedback, and later last year clubs launched. So it's very new, but it, like Bill said, it's designed just for this. So whereas with Patreon, it's very general.
And it doesn't have the 3D printing specific tools and options. But again, all of this is in flux. Like if we find it would be better in a different way, we'll change.
Oh, I'm sure a year from now we'll have a different system, or added systems. Like I said, we might get our website file hosting going for hosting files there where you can purchase them right from our site. But we really like the whole Patreon-ish.
Yeah, this is our minimum viable product too.
Yeah.
Like that was the easiest path to getting things started for us right now. Let's see. Tony Graybeard says, have you thought of making LED light boxes or litho boxes? Yeah, actually, Britt had. We stayed at a friend's house and they had this light up owl.
Yeah, it was a ceramic one, but
lamp.
We were definitely seeing some lithophane abilities.
Right,
in
where
the
it's
structure.
thinner, more light peeks through, and that's definitely something we want to play with.
Yeah, I'm huge on kinetic sculptures. I was trying to design my own, but I'm still learning about how gears work together, and I have these certain features I want it to do, and it's like when you go to look them up, there's so many different use cases. So I'm still learning, but someday I'll have something that goes on the wall, and when you wind it up, it'll move.
Yeah,
and it'll look cool.
What do you say we put together that dragon?
Yeah, that's the easier one.
All right, we'll get started building it. Now, most of our stuff we're trying to design in a way that we can assemble it without glue, but we're not there yet.
Oh no, yeah, two of them.
So we've got some super glue for some of our kits here. Excuse me. Let's move Raisin out of the way.
Yes, the forklift is named Raisin. I love it.
Britt's going to put that together, and I'm going to keep fielding your questions. Matt Chunky says, hey guys, love your channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate you all watching. David says, clearly Bill is not forklift certified with that pallet dump. Look, it's true. I never officially got forklift certified. I did drive a forklift for a long time, but
I didn't know you had to get certified.
it depends on the state where you live and whether or not your boss cares. I did. The worst I did was I dropped a pallet that had a lot of empty glass bottles on it. These were beer bottles that were headed towards recycling anyway, but I smashed about 50 cases of actually probably 100 cases of empty beer bottles. That was the worst I ever did.
But they were empty.
They were empty. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't have to. It took me a couple hours to clean up. A worst case scenario at that job. This was a beer distribution building. The worst case scenario would be if I had dumped 2 pallets of full bottles of beer and broke 100 cases of beer. That would have been a disaster, but I didn't do anything that bad.
Someone did that though, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You were there?
One of my coworkers, he did not last long at that job. Let's see. Atmo Workshop. I would love a tiny bandsaw. Just cut my finger on one today.
It's like when you say you cut your teeth on something, as in like your first time you use it. Oh no, it's the first time I cut myself.
See, Testing Limits is starting a career in machining in August with tech school. That's cool.
Congratulations.
The end goal is a makerspace.
That's awesome.
Wonderful, yeah.
All right.
You're going the way of toys and fidgets. Any thoughts on practical prints like coasters? Someone just mentioned.
It would have to have like moving parts or a function, but yes.
Sure, yeah. I've seen coasters where people you place a drink on it and it like closes around it,
or like lights up.
That'd be pretty cool.
Like we're big fans of kind of the puzzle vibe of escape rooms, but without like the time limit and the stress of trying to solve it in time.
Yeah.
So like a coaster that could also be something for your D&D game.
Right.
Maybe it has a hidden slot to hide a coin in it or something, you know.
But I'm making things that are in any way practical is not even on my radar.
Yeah, right.
I want to make things that are fun. I just want to make neat things that are fun.
That have features.
If it's a neat enough idea and it happens to be practical, then sure, we'll do that. But I'm kind of done being practical at all in my life. I just want to make weird stuff.
So this is the heart of the dragon. So this is what makes it a functional thing that I enjoy. Its mouth is a spring, so like that. And so this is a little compliant mechanism there that wants to keep closed. So I can put a pen in his mouth or something, and he'll pinch it.
A part of the inspiration for GizmoThrill was also so that we could experiment with what was possible with 3D printing as far as mechanisms. So once you figure out, compliant mechanisms are a thing, how can I use that in this design?
Yeah, exactly.
So, for example, this is Ultimate on printables. This is the I don't know if you can read that there. This is like a switchblade mechanism, right? It's all plastic. But it's they wanted a mechanism that would make the blade pop in and pop out, all with 3D printed parts. So this spring, it's actually 2 springs, and it's doing all the work there. And what's neat is that the print came with different strengths of this spring depending on your filament, and it makes a huge difference on the functionality. I put a stronger spring in this, and it did not work. Put the weaker spring in it, and it did work. So experimenting with things like these kinds of integrated printed springs, that really gets my motor going. It makes me really
it's very
gets
inspiring.
Me excited. Yeah. So like the compliant mechanism on your dragon mouth is one of them, and you'll see when we start putting all this stuff together, some of the stuff we've been able to pull off with 3D prints.
These have a little bit of elephant's foot on them, but I'm just trying to jam them in there.
Jam it in there.
I could sand it down.
We also have a tool right here.
A tool would be nice.
Or the sanding sticks in the other room. They might all be in the other room. This is... I don't think that seems like it's almost used up.
I'll go get a real one.
All right. No, wait. Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
You can just throw that away.
Awesome.
Let's see here. Building the Magic says, what's going to set your models apart from the free stuff on printables?
Can you grab me the pliers, please?
Just these here?
Yeah.
There you go. gonna convince other folks to join? That's a great question. So
we're wondering that too.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna try and figure that out. But the main difference is gonna be like complexity and novelty.
They're just stuck in there now.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of the free stuff doesn't print well.
Right. So I notice a lot of people put stuff up on websites like that, and they don't print them ahead of time. Our stuff gets prototyped to death before it makes it on the internet.
Yeah. It's like when you go to download a free thing and the only image of it is of the 3D file. You're like, did you even print this? And they're like, oh no, I ripped a game model out of a game and it's just the raw file. And it's like, well, that's cool and all, but it's not going to print well. Whoops.
Well, that is tight.
Yeah. You see the lip on it?
Yeah, that's quite the. I can bonk it out with a tool.
I should have sanded it.
Got all these tools so
Yeah,
close.
these guys too. They have a little elephant's foot on the bottom. But at least they didn't fall off the build plate.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Gotta be careful here. Oops. There, I got them all out for you.
At least they're nice and snug.
They are very snug. So we've been learning a lot about tolerances and clearances.
Yeah.
Hey, Hendrik is here. Hendrik 3D. If anyone wants to know about electroplating 3D prints, Hendrik's the guy for it. In fact, that's something I really want to try out soon, is electroplating.
It looks like so much fun.
I know, it does look really fun.
Thank you for doing the legwork of figuring out
Yeah.
how all that works.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
See, Akela Draconis says, what kind of printer would you recommend to make figures for model dioramas? I don't mind painting. I prefer it, actually. It seems like resin printers are the sort of the standard for miniatures, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like D&D minis and stuff. And we've seen a lot of model makers and diorama makers. In fact, this morning we were watching Bobby Fingers. If you're not watching Bobby Fingers, what are you doing? Just did a collaboration with Adam Savage and the Slow-Mo guys.
His videos are great.
They're insane. But he does a lot of model and figure work, and that's all done on resin printers. It seems like that's pretty much the common way to do it. Let's see here. How's Carlac going?
She's going.
Yep, made some progress on it yesterday.
Yeah, I'm working on the wig.
Should be a video out on Monday. Or Friday if you're a patron.
That's right. Oh yeah, look at that chunky bit there. Ooh.
What brand of glue, Viking Pro wants to know, what brand of glue and activator is that? This is the Bob Smith stuff. I got it from Hobbytown. The Bob Smith Instacure. And then it's the same brand of spray. Oh, this one's actually from Walt's Hobbytown in Syracuse, New York. This was the hobby shop I went to when I was a wee child. Also got this zip kicker stuff that's really good. This is in a little aerosol can. So this is the stuff this has the smell. You shouldn't be sniffing, you shouldn't be huffing any of it, but that one smells right to me.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I gotta keep that out. We're gonna use a little bit of that. I'll keep the hammer out too, just in case we need that.
Oh, that goes right through now.
Yeah.
That's better.
I really miss the Prop Live Q&A. What happened to make them stop? Well, we did a lot of them, and what we did, I think, almost 200 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And a few things happened. One, it was a lot of time out of the day to line up guests and record. And then also, we found that we ended up answering a lot of the same questions.
Yeah, it was definitely the vibe we were getting was that people wanted to hang out and chat with us, but there were no new questions. It was rehashing old questions.
So the content was getting kind of stale. At the same time, we moved into our big shop and had a ton more responsibilities that kind of took over. So the live streams went by the wayside. We were streaming on Twitch, and for a long time, Twitch had a cool creative thing, and then they stopped doing that, and it all kind of kind of fell off.
Yeah, it was a big bummer. Twitch Creative kind of fell apart.
What did I just click on?
Oh,
you
no.
Sneak that between two things.
Cool.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Let's see here. Ingenious Drummer says, hey, hello. Let's see. Willie Wormpie says, some kind of flower coaster would be gorgeous. Wrapping around the drink as it's placed into it. That's really cool.
So you're speaking our language.
Yeah.
That's, it's like these extra features. No one asks for these things, right? But when you see them, when you like go over to someone's house, like years and years ago, we bought coasters for a friend, and they were on like Think Geek or something. They were Stargate coasters.
Right.
So it was like the Stargate portal, but laying down, and it was resin and see-through and cool, and it's like that's the kind of stuff that gets me excited.
Yeah. Well, let's see here.
The hardest thing in the world now.
The honest cosplayer loves making weird stuff. We know that. Dave Whitehead loves your dragon. Make a Tiamat pen holder system with multiple colors. Look at that. A multi-headed dragon.
Yeah. See, there you go. Many dragon heads, they each have a feature. Maybe one of them can hold stuff.
Yeah. Tony says we need to 3D print a hammer. Do I have my little hammer? That's in the other room.
This says, I'm being really lazy. There's a lip on the bottom of this one, but I'm just going to jam it in here. It'll be fine.
There you go. Let's see here.
That's too far.
Hendrik is the internet's electroplating hero.
Yeah, totally. There we go. A little understructure.
What type of model do you want to make but don't have the 3D skills yet? What are you growing towards? That's a great question. I'm since we're building things that have a lot of mechanical elements, I need to get better at building and testing mechanical stuff in 3D.
Yeah. A couple of my early iterations of my treasure chest, after I printed it out and went to put it together, I was like, why did I think this would work? Or even like my latest one, like this little guy, his body underneath is like a little like almost like a peanut shape where it curves in a little bit, and then there's a little registration, and then it bumps out, so it's like whoop, whoop. And like I printed the understructure and then printed the overstructure, and it wouldn't fit on it.
Right.
Like it wouldn't go on the bottom or the top. I'm like, why? How did I think it was gonna, like, if it was thin enough, maybe it could slide over it. But it took a couple tweaks to get it to the head to snap on and have it still be able to move.
Something else I really want to do is automata, the sort of thing where you like turn a crank and like some sort of thing animates. So like bird wings flapping or something. That's something I haven't even tried yet, but I have a few ideas of the end product.
You can glue those on. This is the one thing that requires glue.
To.
I did little tabs, but they just don't have enough jamming force to want to stay in there. And it was getting to the point where I was like, oh, someone's just going to pop them out anyway, so I'll just require glue. This was the first model I designed for this
every
project.
3D project starts with like this idealized version in your head, and then you make compromises.
Everything's a compromise. I mean, it's like that when we do
every creative project is like that.
You're like, when you get started, you have all these stretch goals, so you don't realize they're going to be problems.
Yeah, and then halfway through, you start to, in the service of finishing the thing, you start to make compromises. Every YouTube video you have ever watched is done because someone made some compromises. Every movie, every TV show, every video game,
everything that got done.
The bigger the creative project, the more compromises had to be made to the original vision. There we go.
Cool, thank you.
That is curing. Let that go.
Chin bits on.
Let's see. How many rolls of filament do you go through a month? It's hard to tell. We have a ton of different colors, and we use a little bit of each.
Yeah.
So we really don't keep track of like how many kilograms we use.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it's little things like this is the amount of white that we used for this dragon for the eyes.
Swap it out for just like the tiniest amount of one color. So it's kind of hard to tell. Are you completely done with foam smithing, only doing 3D printing? No, we so the cool thing about what we do as prop and costume makers is we get to dip our toe into lots of different techniques, tools, materials, all in service of like getting a costume done, right?
Mm-hmm. Whatever tools and materials are needed.
So that means that sometimes, we need to make a bunch of armor, and the quickest and best thing to use for that is foam. Or I need to make a space gun, and I want to be able to have other people make it, so I'm going to 3D model it. So we have this huge list of skills and techniques that we use, including foam smithing, including 3D printing. And for Punished Props, we're going to keep dabbling in all of those things.
Yeah, whatever skills we need.
Yeah, we're always going to have something we're making for Dragon Con the next year, or some different event. And if foam smithing makes sense for that, then that's what we'll use.
Totally.
But we start a project by thinking, here's what I want. I want to, Karlak's a great example. I want to make the Karlak costume, right? And then we work our way backwards. So what materials are we going to need? What techniques can we use? Should we 3D print the horns, or do we want to foam smith the horns? Britt ended up foam smithing the horns.
Yeah, I wanted them to be lightweight and very durable.
So we don't decide that we're going to use a specific technique. We instead decide what we want to make and figure out which techniques would be best for that. Sometimes we have the material on hand to do it one way. So there's a lot of factors that determine how we decide what we're going to use to make it. So you'll see on the Punished Props channel, we'll still be making all sorts of weird prop and costume stuff with a variety of techniques. We still have a ton of foam in the other room. But
if you do go back and kind of scroll through all of our hundreds and hundreds of videos we've done, though, we've always used mixed media to make our content. We have a project coming up that's probably going to be all plastic styrene and wood. So we like all the materials. We like to use the materials we have that would work the best for the project. Yeah.
If you put that in here, we can just clamp it.
Just clamp it.
You want? I should give them the clamps.
It's funny, in my assembly video, I show like sanding it, making sure everything fits nicely, and here I am just jamming it together.
Yeah. Let's see here. That question was from Phil.
Those just have to go together.
Oh, I see. I'll just do a little refinement here. Yeah, these ones in particular ended up with a pretty gnarly elephant's foot.
Yeah, you see on that one. I could just trim them off, but I'll sand it down.
And I think there's more on the inside of these bits here a little bit, making it harder.
When it's in there, it'll be in there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give it the clamp.
Give it the clamps. Isn't that the name of our vinyl cutter, Roberto?
Roberto, yeah. Ha
Yeah, the snapping of never coming apart again.
Yeah, that is in there.
Cool.
Let's tighten it up a little bit more.
Thank you.
Alright, let's snug up the nose region.
Man, I haven't put one of these together in a few months. Is, like I said, it's the first one I designed. Yeah, that guy goes in there. Little wing.
Get his mouth in there. Alright, that's mostly together.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, there's always a little bit of a gap on that one. It's amazing, too, like, all the iterations you go through. Like, this was not the first version I printed by far.
Matt Chunky says, I'm thinking of getting a filament-based 3D printer. The one I'm looking at is the Bamboo Labs P1S. What do you think? I haven't tried that one, but everyone I know who's tried one of the Bamboo printers seems to really love it.
Yeah. Heard good things, but yeah, haven't personally touched one.
Yep. DB4000K. Have you ever made a Half-Life prop? I've made one, I believe, and it's right here. If I can reach it. This is from Half-Life Alyx. This is the grenade from Half-Life Alyx.
And
because it looked like a tape measure, I built it over a tape measure. How good is that? It's got a little lock and everything. I
love it
can
so
lock
much.
it and then... Yeah, I was playing this game. It's a VR game. I was playing it and I picked up a grenade and I thought, that looks like a tape measure. I need to make it into a tape measure. Let's see, random question. If you were the dictator of a small island nation, what crazy dictator stuff would you do? Oh, it's...
I don't want to be
You
in
don't want to
charge.
give me that kind of power.
Oh,
The crazy thing I would do would be to set up a democracy. That's what I would do.
how dare you?
Yeah, I would try and find someone much better suited than me to be in charge. That's what I would do.
I'll be vice president.
That sounds pretty good.
This one goes
Let's see. What gets me almost all the time is getting the tolerance right for 3D printing. So yeah, that's what we end up doing a lot of is figuring out how to get parts to fit together just right.
Yeah.
And it can be tricky.
And especially since everyone's printer is different.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's hard to get things that'll print nice on everyone's printer.
Oh, Hendrik 3D is heading out. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chilling. Michael says, I'd love to see a 3D printed drawbridge mechanism for a book nook. Book nooks are definitely on our list for fun projects for GizmoThrill.
Totally. Seen some really cool ones lately
Yeah.
that people have done.
Yep.
There we go. Do that.
Let's see here. Hello from Scotland. My Fieldwalker Masks. Hello. Thanks for swinging by. Matt says, thanks for all the great content before your videos and cosplay Chris. What a cool guy, cosplay Chris. I believe he just got married.
Oh, goodness.
I didn't know anything about silicone. Now I'm a full-time mold maker for a haunted house animatronic supplier. That's so cool!
That's awesome.
Way to go! That is really neat. Yeah. Not the clamps. Let's see. Any tips on tolerances that you've discovered that you'd like to share? You just got to do a lot of tests. You change the clearance by 0.1 millimeter and you print it again and you test it and see how it fits. I will say, let me draw a.
Oh, I could do this one last.
Let me
Yeah, and
illustrate something here.
Yeah, the orientation matters for tolerances.
Yeah, but also let's say I have a. Let's see. Can we see this? Let's say I have a slot. Something needs to get plugged into this oval, right? If I make it exactly, let's say this, actually, let's do a circle. Circles are easier. Let's say the diameter on this is 10 millimeters. If I make a peg that is 10 millimeters, it won't fit in there. It won't go in at all. So let's say I make it let's say I make a slightly smaller peg. 9.8 millimeters, right? That might fit with just enough snugness, but what I've found is making it even a little bit smaller so it's kind of loose in there, and then add some bumps to it. So this is looking down at a peg. So a 3D view of it might look like the peg might look like this, with these sort of protrusions, let's say 3 of them coming on it. So you have 3 points of interference where your piece actually really touches and makes it snug, but it's not the whole surface, which makes it almost impossible to put it in there. Hopefully that makes sense to someone if you're trying to make something like that. So if you have a slot going into a hole, or a peg going into a hole, instead of having the entire perimeter being contacting it, just a few key spots. That's something I want to figure out more and more. So like these pegs here are a nice tight fit, which is great. But if you wanted them to be, if you wanted to make it more foolproof, there are ways to do that.
Yeah, and I certainly did not do that for this model.
Right. Let's see.
So many lips.
Behind the Magic says, if you could go back in time and give your baby maker self 3D printing advice, what would you say? Really just like experiment more.
Yeah, it's tricky too because when we were getting into it is when it was so new.
Right.
I feel like if you're getting into 3D printing now, it's just so much more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just try stuff.
And like those fitment tests I was talking about before.
Yeah.
Like it would have been really cool to sort of figure out a bunch of stuff that kind of works back then. Because we find that now we're doing that experimenting.
Yeah, because we didn't know. And if we're designing stuff for props, everything gets glued together.
Yeah, so it was easy to sort of throw caution to the wind when we were getting started because everything was going to get body shopped after the fact,
right?
As a prop. But now that we're designing things that we're going to send these files out to other people and we want them to be able to be successful. That's when we have to start doing more tests so that no matter how someone prints the thing, it's basically going to work.
So like these little nubby arm things, originally this was all one piece, but in order to print it like this without supports, I had to print it with the outside down, and the flat surface here looked all right on my printer, but I had my brother-in-law print it, and it looked really crummy, the surface on his build plate. So I was like, well, I'll just split it apart into two pieces, and then this prints upside down, and the top looks all nice. But that's just, after trying out experimenting. Could you, squish this guy together a little bit for me? There's a little peg in there. That's very tight. Yep. Snap. Thank you.
That's as far as I can get that.
Right, thank you. Mm-hmm. So this goes in here like that. And then the arms actually is what holds the body in place.
There we go.
Like that.
DB 4000K, or no wait, Tony Graybeard. Do you find humidity and ambient temperatures affect your filament? We're really fortunate. We don't have too much humidity down here. Our filament's all stored in the ambient air, and we haven't found that it gets too much moisture.
No, the PLA is fine.
Yeah. But we do keep an eye on the humidity down here, and the temperature. It stays at around 65 degrees Fahrenheit normally. And when we have prints going, those bump up to it bumps up to 70 degrees.
Yeah, we used to have our printer by a window, and that was pretty bad because we get a breeze coming from outside.
Yeah.
But now they're snugged in the middle of the shop.
Mm-hmm.
We have an enclosure we can set up. We haven't needed to, though.
Yeah.
I think we need to jam this guy in there.
There you go.
There it is.
Smash it with a hammer.
Yzma had all the right ideas.
Yeah. Michael wants to get into prop making and cosplay, but he's 43. I get discouraged when I hear makers younger than I am have been doing it for 20 years. Any words of encouragement from this old man? Doesn't matter how old you are or how good you are at a thing, there will always be someone who is younger than you who is better at it. That doesn't matter. Again, doesn't matter how long you're doing it. That will always be the case. And I say, get excited about joining them. Get excited about getting to take part in the cool thing that they are doing. As I grow older, I try really hard to remember what it was like to be young. I don't want to be an old curmudgeon that gets butthurt about young people doing cool things.
Yeah, back in my day, it's okay to say if you're like being nostalgic or whimsical or whatever,
Sure.
But don't be grumpy about it.
Yeah.
Because it's cool that printers are more accessible now and things like that.
Because trust me, I've been making costumes for a long time, and it turns out that kids these days are really good at it.
Oh, kids these days.
And it sometimes it can be a little discouraging. I understand that.
Yeah, it's just getting into anything later in life is I have to learn something again. It's ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that needs to be sanded down a little bit, but that's the basic gist. Got a little tail. It's got his little wings. Oh, there's the tail.
There we go. There's the dragon.
Wings.
The wingling dragon. You want to trade places? I'll start putting that boat
Yeah.
together.
Here, wait, he has to hold something.
You know what? I do need hot glue and something for the ballast. I'll go grab some.
He's now the sanding stick holder in the shop.
There you go.
Job.
All right. We can swap seats, and I can go get the weight for the boat.
Oh yeah. So it's the thing about so we're gonna be doing this guy next. A little more complicated. Some of the pieces should be easier to put together, though. These had a lot of like interference fits with pieces that were a little fat being on the build plate. I like that filament, though. This is a copper, I think, or a bronze that we got. Oh. All right. It's time for Scooter the Tugboat, and if you're just joining, if you head on over to printables.com and search for Scooter the Tugboat, you can download and print this one for free.
Yeah, here I'll bring that up on the thing.
Oh, yeah. Some washers. Is that what we're gonna be jamming in there? That's great. Got a lot of them.
So the next one, let's do that. There we go. So we're gonna be putting together your Scooter next. We got all the parts printed out here.
Oh yeah, I'll hand them to you.
Here, let's make a little room.
I can move over.
Let's go in there.
Can we switch chairs? Although you'll be really hunchy, you should use that one. I'll just be tall.
All right. Let's go back to the camera and then do that so we can see the chat.
Cool.
There we go.
Awesome.
So here are all the parts for the boat, and I'll start putting them together. I'm going to start with the stand for it. I made this cool little dock thing.
There's a lot of really good motivational people in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences about being an older maker.
Yeah.
Graybeard here says, I'm in my 50s and I'm printing out a wearable Fallout power armor for myself.
Yes.
I got an email from someone recently who them and their friend, for their friend's 50th birthday, were 3D printing the gun from District 9. The one that Bill, same one that Bill molded and casted himself, but apparently someone has a 3D model available.
Awesome.
So that was a project they wanted to chat about. And then David Whitehead here says, they didn't start until their 40s as well, almost 52 now, and don't compare your work to others. If you love it, that's all that matters, and that is so true. So great.
So these are a press fit. It's going together great. And this is where the boat will end up on this stand here. So as parts go together, they can go right on there. And I was talking about ballast. So the bottom of the hull here has this cavity, and we're going to put a bunch of weight in there. Actually, let me slide this open. I have a gram scale right here. And for the weight, I'm going to use 1/4-inch washers because I have a ton of them.
This person said my dragon reminded them of the fat one in the D&D movie.
Yes.
I love that dragon so much. Was it Thembershad?
Thembershad, yeah.
Yes. The D&D movie was so much fun.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to do like 40 grams. I did like 25 before, and that maybe wasn't quite enough. All right, so that's... Oops, let's turn that off. And we're just going to hot glue a bunch of weight down in the very lowest spot. Mm-hmm. This will float, but if it doesn't have the ballast, it'll tip over.
Yeah, the 3D printing filament was not heavy enough.
No.
And if you just printed it solid, it would be a huge waste of filament. When you can just jam some weight you have around. Also, this has got to be so much heavier than like the same amount in filament.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing you did to your PKE meter, not to make it float in water a certain way, but to make it feel like it had more weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Spyro, another great dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember back when the remastered Spyro came out, the Thingergy team, led by Frank Ippolito, made a Spyro the Dragon drone for their promotion, and he flew a copy of the game around.
Did he have a flamethrower on him?
Yeah, I think there was a version that had a flamethrower. That sounded like a really fun project to do.
There we go. So that's the ballast weight. Let that cool down for a moment. This is off. This is off. And I designed this thing to have this middle stripe, but also so that this part can be printed upright with no supports, and the bottom of the hull got printed upside down with no supports. And then to put all those together, I've got these kind of pegs. This is one of the ways I've been kind of experimenting with different clip orientations. This is my first try. The forklift ones are a little bit different. But basically, these go... Some of these are longer. One of them's longer. These go through the hull like that. They match up with the deck there. And there's a couple of them. And those go and hold the whole hull part together. But it also gave you an opportunity to have different colors. So now the middle stripe goes on next. Like that. And that all snaps into the bottom hull. There we go. That's not going anywhere, right? Okay. So these pegs line up just like that. And it satisfyingly all snaps together.
Oh, yeah.
So that is the hull together. And then the keel kind of locks it all in place like that. And there's a little pin for the keel there. And that locks that in like that. So that's the base of everything put together. Let's see. Next we can do the cabin. The cabin's a little goofy. Oh.
Those colors are pretty.
Aren't they?
I like it.
We've had a lot of fun experimenting with the different filaments out there.
Yeah.
So the cabin was a difficult thing to figure out how to print in one go with no support, so I split it in half. So this part goes up like that. And it does slide together, but I may have to glue some of these parts. And like you have with the dragon, some of these parts might be a little more snug because of an elephant's foot.
Yeah, just there's the first layer was a little squished down, I think.
Yeah. On
those prints. It's better than them falling off.
Definitely is. Boy, none of these want to fit at all. All right, I'm gonna go over the edges of it with.
Yeah, chat's talking about how with all the information that's out there now, anything you want to get into, there's some information for you to get started. Like young me in school, around fourth to seventh grade, I loved doing dioramas for school. Like anytime there was some kind of crafty project, I would jump on it, and that's all I would be interested in doing. But no one said hey, if you like making that stuff, go on YouTube and watch, all these cool diorama makers, because YouTube didn't exist back then. The internet was brand new, and I didn't know that was a thing you could do just for fun. Mm-hmm. I thought I had to only do it for a project. If it was for an assignment, I would do it. But now these days, you can watch someone like Bobby Fingers do a diorama and get very inspired by that.
Oh, why don't these want to fit?
It's because you're filming.
I know.
That's what happens.
You've got to be kidding me.
David Whitehead says, for Dragon Con, when you come next year, your first beverage is on me.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
And also our first, wow, that looks great.
These are all printed upright, so I'm not sure why there's...
Hello, Adam. You're not late. We're just trying out this whole live streaming on YouTube thing. It's certainly been a while since we've done live streams.
Yeah.
We are currently putting together Scooter the Tugboat, which is a 3D model designed by Bill.
So yeah, it's just been a while since we hung out with everybody.
Yeah.
We've been, I don't know if you guys noticed, we've been making more YouTube videos more regularly lately, trying to get one out every week. It's been fun, been getting back into it.
Yeah, we're,
just being more regular with it.
Since we're just working out of our basement, we don't have a big shop or anything to pay for, so we can just put out the videos where we just want to share stuff. It doesn't have to, we don't need a lot of views, it's not sponsored.
I can just make a video about hats if I want.
Or you talk about your favorite hats. That kind of freedom's been nice.
Yeah.
See, this is why we didn't let the chat name the tugboat. It would have been a Mick Tugboat Face variant.
Yeah.
We did think about it. And also, you can make your own nameplate for it. So yours can have a Mick Face name.
Oh, I didn't print the nameplate.
Oh, that's all right. We can print that later.
Why is this so snug?
Yeah. I can go get your rubber brass hammer.
The trick is these front ones really, there's no real way to hit them straight down.
Tony Graybeard's wondering if we're gonna come to Australia for a con.
I would love to.
We were actually just talking about that. We've never been to Australia. We were talking with Svetlana and Benny from Kamui Cosplay.
Yeah, they were just in Mexico, I believe.
There we go. Sorry if that's really loud.
These front ones really don't want to go in.
Well, they're just like that now.
It's going to cause problems later.
Yeah. So we haven't been guesting at conventions since like pre-COVID pandemic times. So if we do start guesting at conventions, we would totally go to an Australia one. We want to go to New Zealand again too, and it'd be kind of neat to tie that in with the convention. So where you get to talk with other makers about all the cool stuff they made.
Why don't you want to go in?
Are you too good for your home?
The trouble is I can't push right down on that.
Yeah.
Just gonna have probably not.
Michael Chanel's wondering about our hat sizes. Bill's hat size is the biggest you can find. It's
this one is. Oh, there's no tag. No.
But here, I can do your head circumference after you're done with that, because we have measuring tapes.
I don't think I'm making any progress on that.
But Bill's hat size is extra large, and mine is like medium to small size.
It's like I have to take it apart now to. Can I get like that thin screwdriver? There we go.
The Duresta one?
Yeah.
Our fancy screwdrivers we bought.
Well, now it's at a point where I can't get it to go in or out.
What about some heat?
That's... I don't know.
Have fun at dinner, David.
Yeah, thanks for swinging by. I guess I'm just going to hit this really hard and see if it works. Oh, come on. Well, it's kind of working. It's just repeatedly hitting it with a hammer was the solution.
Some percussive persuasion.
Yeah. The thing is, we've got these frames that have to go in there, and if that's not pushed in all the way, then there's a gap at the bottom. You see that?
Oh, wow, that's a big gap.
There's a bit of a gap down there at the
look at
bottom. So I need that to go in a little further. Well, this is holding up a lot better than I thought it would to repeated hammer blows. Alright, I think I'm going to call that as good as I'm going to get that. That's pretty good. Alright, so these window frames get glued in.
Sorry about all that hammering.
Yeah.
I think we're done now. For now.
Of course, I've put several of these together, and I've never had that particular problem show up.
Adam B is wondering how the CNC and lathe are doing.
I used the CNC recently to make a sign for my friend's house, so that was cool. Can I get that paper towel? Thank you. I haven't used the lathe in a hot minute, but definitely I get excited whenever I have the chance to use either of those. Alright, let's put on some more of these frames.
Oh, you put us down for a potential guest spot at Oz Comic Con.
Awesome.
Awesome. I don't think they've contacted us. I think the only one we've heard from is convention in Nevada or something. Yeah, I think it was in Nevada. A little convention. I don't know if we're going to do that one.
Okay, there we go. This was another part here where I tried to figure out how to get it to just snap in, but it got to a point where I was like, nah, we're just going to glue it.
Yeah. It's the way of designing a project. In the beginning, you have all these grand plans about how everything's going to work perfectly, and at the end, you're like, I just want it to fit.
Mm-hmm. That goes on there. There we go. Looking pretty good. I really like this copper filament. I think it's
I think they call it bronze, but it's totally copper.
Oh, that's going to be a pain in the butt. There's a bit of an elephant's foot on that.
I can sand some of them if you want.
I mean, it's...
We use the Prusa slicer since we just use the Prusa machines.
Could you get an X-Acto?
Yeah.
And clear out the insides of all those?
Sure.
So that one of these can fit in there?
Yeah, look at that.
Yep. Why isn't this... There we go.
It has the vibe of like a whole little brim being around one side.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the Prusa slicer. It seems like all the slicers have been getting really good compared to what they used to be. There's a lot of features in them now that can help you if you're not using another 3D or using a 3D modeling program at all. Where you can even chop up your model and add like registration keys and everything. Sounds pretty cool.
Okay, that goes in like that. That goes in like that. Alright, so that's the cabin coming together.
Yeah, I want to visit Australia. That sounds like a lot of fun.
So before I put the cabin on, I'm going to put the console together here. This is where the steering wheel goes. So there's this little pin here that holds the tiller on and lets it spin. So that goes in there, the axle goes in there, and then this goes right over that clip, and now we can steer the boat. It's not attached to the rudder or anything, but it is...
But you can spin it.
You can spin it, yeah.
Do 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 do.
Spin it.
Oh yeah.
Tailspin.
Oh yeah.
Tailspin. Alright. So that gets glued into these slots here.
Go have fun in the workshop. The real Moki. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I know for a lot of you in Europe it's probably very late.
That's true.
Or early? Wait, late.
It's late.
Because you're like 8 hours ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on our time change weirdness. Either 7 or 8.
Got the door handle here. Yeah, this copper, for whatever reason, got a bit of an elephant foot. So I'm just tackling this with a little sanding stick.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like a little half brim all the way around the outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I'm just scraping mine away, too.
Maybe when we, once we get this going, we do a live stream once a month where we, hang out and put together kits.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Would
Right.
you guys be interested if we did more live streams? We're not sure if we want to, start doing this at all.
But more for GizmoThrill stuff,
Yeah.
where we put together our prints, put together other people's prints.
Oh, I'd love to put together some other people's prints.
Yeah. So here's how the door goes in. There's a spot on the bottom and a spot on the top, and it just bends into place like that. Wow, that is a lot more snug than I thought it would be.
The sun is just coming up. Yeah, that's definitely moving into early now instead of late.
Thinking that this part here, Britt, came off the print bed, and it's
it lifted.
It's causing some
friction there.
Weird friction.
Yeah, so that part lifted off the print bed and it's pushing.
I think this is
Yeah.
tighter than it normally is. So that's the cabin, and then there's a roof for said cabin. We like to hide our logo in there. And that goes like this, pretty much. And I'm gonna just drop a bead of glue in there. I designed this to snap into place, but it almost never works. So glue it is.
What are we gonna do with this boat? We now have like 3 of them in the house.
Yeah.
At some point in the future, maybe we'll do a giveaway and send some prints out to people.
I like that. I like that idea. There we go. That's how that snaps in there. We're going to hit it with some accelerant so that it kicks off and stays like that forever. There's our cute little cabin.
It's so cute.
And then that goes on top of that in a similar fashion. And I'm going to do the same thing where I put some super glue in here.
Yeah, we have a fleet now.
Does that make me a Commodore?
Is that, instead of a captain, is that like when you're in charge of a fleet, are you a Commodore?
Yeah, I'm a Commodore.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, and that snaps on there. There we go. You can still reach in and pilot the thing. Vlogs. Adam B says vlogs are awesome. I do want to just film more like, oh crap! I didn't put my smokestack in.
Oh no!
Oh no! Did the glue set up already? Ah, crap! I goofed up, everyone.
Can you just take this part off?
That's also glued in place.
Yeah, that might be easier to take off than the other. Nope. Welp.
All right, I'm gonna cut this off, put it in there, and then glue it back on. I'll be right back. I totally whiffed on that.
We might be able to rip it apart, but it's not worth it. You can just cut the print in half. Bandsaw noises. All the bandsaw noises.
Glue that in.
Little diver captain. Oh, I agree. One of the future projects we were floating for Bill to make is kind of in the same lore, same universe as Scooter the Tugboat. So like a little lighthouse. Little lighthouse that's maybe on a little island or something that could hang out near Scooter. I like the idea of a little captain. Norm was talking about like how we could have little accessories, like a little seagull or a little floating life ring thing.
Yeah, we got this cleat here that just pops in the front.
Nice. But yeah, we're kind of trying to see, like, when people start downloading our stuff and printing it, see what they enjoy. And the parts that they're having the most fun with, we want to expand those, you know?
Yeah.
Because if no one's interested in it, then it's like, well, I don't have to add more stuff.
No.
If people aren't going to print it. So we're looking for, like, printing feedback over the next couple months.
Yep. Let's put the wheels together. So these wheels are like bumpers on the side of the boat to protect the hull from bouncing against the dock and everything.
Yeah, and Bill designed them to print flat because you never see the back. So why even bother making it, you know, tire shaped?
All right. Who in chat saw the Tested Slow-Mo Guys Bobby Fingers collab earlier today?
Yeah, it hasn't been out that long. It came out this morning in Seattle time.
But I'm kind of obsessed with it, so just curious who else got to see that. Our wheels or tires anyway get snugged in there. I think I'm gonna put a drop of glue on there. Yeah, Steamboat Willie is public domain. There we go. Tires going on.
Man, I remember back before we'd stream on Twitch. So before we streamed on Twitch, we would do streaming on YouTube, but back then it was called Google Hangouts.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was no chat. It was just a comment section. So we just ran IRC. So we had our own channel for chat because there wasn't a chat. And now they have a chat right on their website. Like, yeah. I don't know. They've expanded in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's looking great, Bill.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You keep working on that, I guess.
Are we frozen?
No, go click on the OBS in the bottom. That's the live camera.
Oh, cool.
The other one's on a delay.
Excellent.
I'm gonna start putting this chain together because it's gonna take a little while.
Kinetic sculpture with flapping seagulls. You know it. That would be awesome.
You know, and I can do that. I can do the propeller.
I need to improve my mechanical prowess to be able to make kinetic sculpture last longer. There's this wonderful maker that I think Wired did interview with. They went to his makerspace, this awesome kinetic sculpture maker, and he makes all of his out of wood. And he uses pulley systems and elastics and pendulums and like all sorts of stuff to make his kinetic sculptures continuously run. And transferring that into a printed-only version. And I don't need it to last forever, but, you know, to run for like a minute or 30 seconds. It turns out mine all were releasing their energy all at the same time. So they would spin really fast and not for very long. So I'm still working on that.
Yeah, so you can either have it be like spring-powered or have it a sort of thing you have to rotate by hand.
Yeah, or like a weight. Like a grandfather clock weight, how it slowly, like you raise it up, but then its energy is released slowly over time as it lowers. There's all sorts of, not regulators, what are they called?
Governors?
Governors, yeah, but they're more for things that really spin fast and they slow them down a little bit. And I want things to move really, really slow, so still doing some tests.
Is anyone else watching Wintergotten work on his marble machine?
Oh yeah, marble machine.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
He's been tinkering with a lot of that stuff lately. It really, really makes my brain go burr.
Michael says we can drop a vape pen in the smokestack.
We could.
That would be great. Just jam it right in there.
So this has to be able to fit in there. This has to be able to fit in there.
Do both sides need to be cleaned out?
From this side.
But like I was comparing it to the thickness of the other side is how big I needed to get it.
It needs to be big enough for this to fit in there is the thing. And it might just be that it's super goofed up. I don't know.
We had a tiny drill bit. You kind of hit the corners of it. Let's see.
I'm just sculpting this little nubbin here that doesn't quite want to fit together.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff, Jonas. Like real world stuff that spins things slowly. This old technology. So how lighthouses used to spin.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have a weight.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, of course. Like I never thought about how old lighthouses used to rotate their light around, but that totally makes sense.
Yeah, with motors, I've got a bunch of... Gosh, why doesn't that want to fit? I got a bunch of motors that I picked up. I don't even remember. But for using them in costumes and stuff, they spin too fast. And there's a lot of ways to make...
Yeah, gear reductions.
Yeah, a spinning motion slower. It's funny how it's more common to have to slow it down than to try and speed it up. Okay.
Let's see. Phil is wondering if we're officially Seattle. They used to live in Everett. We are south of Seattle in Tukwila. Everett is the one that's north of Seattle. But we just say we're from Seattle because that's what you do when you live near a city.
Yeah.
Like if you live outside of Boston, you're like, I'm from Boston.
There we go. Got my propeller put together. That all spins, and then this thing snaps into...
Cute.
Right there. Just like that. Oop, just like that. And then the rudder snaps in like that. The rudder can be posed. There we go.
That's so cool.
Yeah. This is where the nameplate goes, if I had one. Here, I'll give you an example. That's what the nameplate can look like. So this guy here I printed in two colors. I printed the yellow first, and then I did like 2 layers of that, and then I swapped to a red to get the second color there. And then that just pops in to that thing on the back. Like that. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put this chain together.
Originally, Bill had a print-in-place chain, and it worked pretty well, but it wasn't reliable for all the kind of printers that are out there. Some of them didn't print the chain as well. So instead, we have these, it's like a little chainmail making kit.
Yeah.
To assemble yourself.
All right. So now we get to put chains together. And these just snap together. Nice and easy like. They print pretty easily too. This was something I did a bunch of tests on before I came up with this solution. I like the vape pen and the smokestack idea. Something that we had to sort of, we're still going back and forth on with this is, do these kits have to include any hardware that can't be 3D printed? So for example, this boat needs some weight in it to be upright in the water. Not necessary for the model kit, but if you want it to float correctly, then you have to put some weight in it. For props and costumes, I frequently will design a 3D printed prop to include like metal screws and stuff. For these projects, for GizmoThrill, we want to try and limit that. My goal is for someone to get one of these model kits and they can print out everything they need right there to have that fun assembly experience. That being said, we may still end up with some kits that require screws.
Yeah, especially if they're part of another project.
Yeah.
Like if they're designed for something and we're like, hey, we want to put these up available in our clubs too, but it was, designed with other It's like maybe, I don't know, like we're working with a flight test, and they're doing some kind of plane thing, and we helped them make some kind of plane model. And they're like, well, we need it to fit our certain kind of motor. And it's like, well, we're not going to 3D print the motor. You guys have the motor.
Sure.
So it would work with their motor system.
But for the most part, we're trying to make these as fun things where all you need is a printer and some filament. You can print out a bunch of these if you want to put them together with your kids. And you don't need to go buy a bunch of other stuff. For the most part. We're also trying not to put ourselves into too tight of a box. But it is fun designing things when you have specific restrictions.
I do like that. When everything's wide open, I'm like, well, then I'll just spend forever designing. But if you give me limitations, that helps a lot.
It says Bill's that gun. It's funny people call it that gun from Fallout, but it is actually the Blade Runner PKD. Mine has a moving bolt handle. I can show you that right now. Be very proud to show you that. Let me show you all the fun features of this blaster. So this is the mechanism you're talking about, the sliding bolt. It does that. This part pops out, which is fun, and this opens to put lights and batteries in it. This part technically opens. It's a little janky, but the cylinder comes out. These are dummy bullets in there. And then, of course, it makes a pew-pew. The little hammer moves in there when you pull the trigger. The front trigger does nothing. It just got a spring in there. But those are all the features on that one. That was really fun to figure out. Okay, Scooter's coming together. The parts Brittany's working on, I think that's the last bit. And we'll see if we can...
Some of them are clearing out.
Together.
I'm being a little more aggressive.
And I will sand these tabs as well, because that's...
I'm thinking the treasure chest we can save for the next time we do this.
Sure.
Since we already printed out all the pieces. I can go through them and make sure that they printed alright.
Yeah. How long have we been at this? Almost 2 hours? Yeah. We'll get the boat put together. Maybe call it good there.
Someone said they downloaded the boat. That's awesome.
Excellent. Wow, yeah, the elephant foot on these
It's like the first layer was a little too squished down.
Yeah. Boy, that's annoying.
You want another?
Can I get that X-Acto right there? That one right there, yeah.
This tip's chipped off. You can get a new blade if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's annoying because it's both the hole that it has to go in and the tab and the slot are both oversized, so everything is not going to fit. Let's see here. Is that the correct one? It is. That's just not even close. Let's see here. Let's think for a sec. Do I just go in there with the Dremel? With a little rotary bit. I got a tiny little bit.
Yeah, either that or a bit in the drill. A tiny bit. We have ones you can, a bit you can put in the little holder by hand too, right? Like those little hand ones.
Let me go figure out what size bits to use.
All these parts printed during the night. So good on them for finishing in time, but it's a shame that the first layer was squished down a little bit. It's making this a little hard to put together. Yeah, Bill's a huge fan of the, the MacGuffin props, and those are usually some kind of prop weapon, something that the hero carries around. And if he's any kind of like a westerny or space gunny type person, he always has a sidearm.
Alright, this is the right size drill bit.
It's going to be so much faster than what I was doing.
Let's see if it works. Because these are fatter too. So yeah, it doesn't want to fit at all.
Man. Well, we don't have to put this on today.
I guess not. See if I can.
It's okay. We got this part done. The little wheel. That's important.
There we go.
Hawk Worley says a line of 3D printed GizmoThrill tools like handheld drill bit holders or hobby knife handle file holders would be neat. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch. One of the things you could do on printables is favorite models.
I just broke it. And I broke it.
All right. Well, I think that means we don't have to put it together.
Yeah, we can cut to the...
Yeah. Wait. It's like a cooking show.
Yeah. Because I would rather just print these parts again.
Yep. Ta-da!
Ta-da! So that's what that looks like all put together. I'm going to chuck all these over there.
Yeah, it's not worth noodling with. That takes like no time to print. This little thing, we could just print that again.
Print that again. Maybe I have to adjust the Z height on that.
We've been a little spoiled. We haven't had to do maintenance on our printers in a while, so we should go over them to make sure they're printing well.
There you go. So that's kind of how the scooter goes together. Again, we've got this ratcheting mechanism here. So there's a little pawl there that interacts with the gear. So that as you move it, it makes that fun ratcheting noise. You can hang stuff on there. This whole thing rotates, which is fun. Got the opening and closing door. There we go. And then we've got the little tiller in there that can be spun. Got the spinning propeller and the rudder.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Should we do let's do a lock.
Oh, yeah,
I
let's
want
do
to
a
do
lock.
one more.
Yeah, I forgot we had those. No, the padlock is another one that should be easier. We'll see how the
Yes.
tolerances are on that one.
I just put some of these together.
Oh, and yeah, you printed these earlier before last night.
Yeah.
Ooh, which color do you want to do?
I'm going to just do the copper and silver.
Okay.
So this is one of the simpler ones, but it's a really fun mechanism. And again, this is over on GizmoThrill as part of our club membership. And I am just going to use super glue to put a lot of this together. So it's a padlock, with a really fun design. I had a ton of fun designing this whole thing. I'm just gonna, yeah. And it's designed to go together with these little pegs, and those just get glued in place.
Yeah, these look like they printed great.
They did.
You printed these like last week, though, right?
Yeah. I printed these last week for a little something I got to do in San Francisco.
So exciting.
You all might want to keep an eye on the tested YouTube channel over the next couple of days. Just saying. There's going to be some fun stuff over there.
They've been killing it this week.
They have. They had that Homeworld video. They did the Bobby Fingers video. they have something cool coming out tomorrow and something else cool coming out the next day. So keep an eye on the Tested YouTube channel. In case you weren't already. I'm sure most people here are keeping an eye on what Adam's up to. The this padlock to me feels like they're a really great sort of size for one of these projects.
Kind of a good complexity too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fun to customize with different colors, and it's not like a huge commitment to put together a print. The boat is kind of a pain in the butt with all the.
Well, it's amazing too when we were designing, or you were designing the boat as our first thing.
Yeah, we're kind of figuring out what.
Like originally we were like, it has to be very, very complicated because you're only going to get one a month, and we want them to be able to have something to do for that entire month.
But I think sometimes people look at a thing and they're like, "Oh, I'm never gonna have time to put that together."
Yeah, like they think they won't have time or it's too complicated. So yeah, a variety of complexity of parts, I guess.
Exactly. Is that the right way to do it?
And this is such a good example too. This is like one of our original concept ideas was some kind of lock that you could give to a player at your D&D game if they're like, I pick the lock, and you hand them the lock and they actually have to try and pick it.
Yeah, right.
This one comes with a key, but I bet you could pick it.
Oh, sure.
Like,
This is not a
lock picking lawyer.
Yeah, I'm not going to send this to lock picking lawyer.
Oh, Michael's wondering if these could be printed in metal.
I bet you could. In fact, this could be CNC'd out of on a 3-axis mill. The way it's been designed.
Cool.
That would be pretty fun.
You could try and CNC it on your mill.
I could.
Maybe,
that sounds pretty fun.
Maybe with aluminum for the inside bits, because this
Yeah.
would be the softest.
Aluminum and brass.
And maybe these would just be holes, and you could put pegs in them later.
Yep.
That's pretty exciting.
That does sound really
I don't know why Bill didn't think of that before.
So I'm putting the shackle together now. I do wish I had printed that in a different color, but that was Bill last week's oopsie.
Yeah, Adam says lock picking lawyer would be like click out of one.
Yeah. There we go. So that goes in. There's a little bit of a tail on this that actually this whole thing doesn't quite want to go down all the way. But so that tail gives it a little bit of pressure right there, so that it'll spring open. Yeah.
That's so cool.
But why aren't you going down all the way?
I like how you labeled your levers. One option when you're 3D modeling, most programs now have the option to add text to the surface. So this says 2 on it because it's the second one in order. And that all gets covered up later. What's this one? This one says 3.
Yeah, I really dig the idea of including instructions right on the prints, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so that goes in there. That should be fine.
Phil's wondering if you can buy kits if you don't have a 3D printer. Currently, we are not doing any physical mailing of things. We want to, since this is a kind of a side hustle, we want it to all be digital.
We just don't have the time to be printing kits for other people. We don't have enough printers either.
Yeah, that would definitely be more than a minimum viable product of what we want to do.
So that's how the levers go in, and now when this comes down, it locks. Oh yeah, and then pops open.
Oh, it's so good.
When you have the key, of course. So with that in, we can close it, because we're going to glue this thing shut. And I don't have the key. I have another key. Where is it? I broke one when I was at Tested.
Oh, of course you did.
So we'll...
let's see.
There we go.
What did I say with that? Yeah, I bet there's a lot of different 3D printing services out there now.
Yeah, I know, like, like PCB way, even though they do PCBs, they do 3D printing as well and CNC machining and all sorts of stuff. So companies are offering more and more of that kind of thing nowadays, which is pretty cool.
That went together really well. Good job, Bill.
Well, it's not done yet. Still plenty of opportunities for me to get this.
I don't know, it's just showing that the clearances were much better last week on our printers than this week.
I feel like it's just that one filament, although it was this color.
Yeah.
But we'll have to go just give everything a once over, do some test prints before we print another big batch of stuff.
Another option is to get a friend who has a 3D printer.
Yeah. Or go in on a 3D printer with a friend.
I always use the example of like owning a ferret, and it's like, well, I don't want to own a ferret or a bird. They're very high maintenance and very complicated creatures, but I want a friend with a bird.
Yeah.
I want to visit my friend who owns a bird or a ferret or chinchilla or something, but I don't actually want one. It's too much work. We have lazy cats.
Cats are so easy.
Yeah, they're roommates. They take care of themselves. Oh, the chest. Yeah, it does lock. I can show you that feature. So,
yeah, locking mechanisms are definitely fodder for this project.
Okay. So this got little handles on it. The back of it has an option for a little snap-on attachment that replaces one of the rivets. So it's a little holder where you can keep the key if your key's not hidden. And the key shape is a very simple thing. It's just a diamond shape with the little cylinders on it, so it's not designed to keep your valuables safe, because you could just take the whole treasure chest and leave with it.
Yeah.
It goes in there, and that should have opened it. Yeah. So I can show you the mechanism. So it goes like that. And then the top of it has this little catch here. It works pretty well. It's funny when you design stuff in 3D space, though, like, it ends up being a little thinner or a little more fragile than you want it to be, because you only have a certain amount of space to work in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and just like that, your padlock's done.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit on this guy.
No, it's a little big. But now you can, I love this sliding cover right here.
Yeah, just gravity makes it
and then the key. There's the goofy looking little key, and that goes in there. Ooh. And it pops it open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little snug in there, but yeah, you see how
it's so good.
Good snapping noises. And that's the padlock. Well, there you go. There's some of our prints. Here, we can snap this up here. Oh, look at us. Some cool prints that we made. If that's something you think is cool, head on over to our GizmoThrill page on printables, and you can download the free thing, or you can jump in the club and get some of these other more complicated models. And there's a few more. There's the forklift. There's the robot that you made here. There we go.
Wait, I'll hold these ones up too.
Yeah.
And,
fun things.
Bill's currently working on a prototype of a random number generator for numbers 1 to 6, so like a D6.
Like a dice roller, but a spinning dial.
Yeah. We were kind of thinking about the idea of like, well, instead of just the numbers on it, you could have a blank one that people could write on their own symbols or something. So like if you have a D&D game where you want random 1 to 6, but skin it as like something different.
Different like runes or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have another project that we might add onto our clubs in the next couple days, which is super secret.
Yeah, but you'll probably see more about it tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll probably see more about it tomorrow.
If you're paying attention to Tested's YouTube channel. That wraps it up for this little introduction to GizmoThrill. I want to thank everyone for coming by and checking it out. I know this is different than our normal thing. I promise we're going to keep doing the normal thing. This is just a fun thing we're doing as a side hustle, because we're both just way into 3D printing and 3D design. So hopefully some of you are too. We'll hang around for a couple more minutes. If you have any last questions, throw them in the chat. Be happy to answer them for you. Anything at all. If you have prop questions or just questions about how we do what we do, just let us know. We'll hang out for a little bit longer. But again, I appreciate you all hanging out here for this new, different thing. I know that's on YouTube, doing something new and different is when you've been established for so long is not always met with enthusiasm. People generally want you to keep doing the thing you've been doing for forever.
Oh, and you should hear sometime all the crazy ideas we were coming up with during quarantine. Because we had a lot of ideas of projects we wanted to branch outside of prop and costume making. But what we really came down to is we love 3D modeling. We went to school for it. It was always something we were interested in. And we really want to work on designing our own stuff. So Bill designed this and modeled it and printed it all himself. And all came out of his brain. And I think that is so cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now I've got
do more of that.
Got me thinking about machining one of those out of metal.
Yeah. Make one out of metal.
Yep.
Yeah. It's got to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. Well, that was fun. We have more things now to find homes for in the shop.
Yeah. GizmoThrill. What's that for the people that just showed up? Oh, we'll give it that's a great question. I'll wrap up the whole idea behind GizmoThrill. So this is a new venture that we're doing. It exists over on printables.com. Right now, it's a website where you can download free 3D models for printing. You can get purchased 3D models for printing, or you can join a club and get monthly models for 3D printing. It's kind of how it works. It's a repository for 3D models with various ways of either getting free or paid models. We put a bunch of our models over there, including these new ones, also some of our free prop ones over there. But the idea with GizmoThrill is that Brittany and I get to design neat little toys and gadgets and gizmos, desktop things that are fun to 3D print and assemble. The assembly is important. It's the most fun part for me, and it's the experience that we want to deliver with GizmoThrill. Uh-oh, we lost an ear.
Come back! I see it. Got some more questions?
Yeah, what cons do you guys go to? Do you have a booth for those cons? We don't have any conventions planned with a booth right now. The only convention we're definitely doing is Dragon Con. We don't have a booth for that. We'll just be running around in costume having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Dragon Con is technically a work convention because we usually film something there.
Sure.
But we don't sign up for panels. Bill's usually put on a panel by one of his friends. But and we don't go to the vendor hall in Dragon Con very much because it's in another building.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's all we have signed up for right now.
Yeah, we've talked about in the past how we could go to like the one. It's not the Bay Area Maker Faire anymore, is it? The one that's on the island that they have. It's anyway. It's another.
There is a new Maker Faire that they tried last year. They did it 2 weekends.
Yeah, that was a little weird. But it was like we could booth at something like that. But right now we're just doing virtual digital stuff and seeing if anyone likes it.
Yep. Tony Graybeard says, will you be doing any builds with Adam or someone else from Tested? Well, pay attention to Tested's YouTube channel tomorrow and you will get your answer.
It's really cute. You guys are gonna love it.
It's my subtle way of saying yes. Yes, I am. All right, I think that'll do it for us from the live stream. Again, thank you so much for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Please keep showing up to watch our stuff. We'll have a new video up on Monday, a new prop video. Britt's working on her Karlak costume. Look forward to that. And
maybe we'll live stream again.
Yeah.
It's once we got it set up, it wasn't so bad. Our tech's really old. Maybe we'll come up with a better system.
Yeah, we may have to buy a new webcam or 2. All right, that'll do it, everyone. Thanks. We will see you all later.
End.